Hello, welcome to the PowerFish podcast. I'm Ben.
And I'm Fish. And would you just listen to the way I sound? It's pitiful.
Terrible. Just disgusting.
Just listen to this.
You've been pounding them lozenge.
You missed it
You're
because
just
we were
talking
just talking about it. But these guys,
What did that just say? Slip throat?
sore throat. Would you?
Okay.
Would you read?
I caught that wrong. Sore throat.
Yeah, I'm on day 3 of being ill. You know what's funny? Brief side tangent about illnesses and how they are and the way they are. So,
Not a doctor.
I was at work on Monday morning, and I told the boss I was walking around, I was just doing some cleaning or whatever, and I was just like, man, my back hurts. Like a spot on my back really hurts for no reason. He was just like, oh man, that's weird. No other symptoms. I just was like, my back hurts. Did I like sleep on it funny? Did I run into something? Like, what did I do? I get home, maybe do a little bit of gaming. I'm gaming with my friends, and I'm starting to get scratchiness in my throat. And I'm like, guys, my throat hurts. That's crazy. And they're like, nah, yeah, probably because I put your dick in your mouth, got them, how friends are.
Classic.
And I was like, no, I don't think that's what it is. I think my throat hurts. I'm sick, guys. That's crazy.
You have a different hypothesis.
I have a different hypothesis. Not that that's not a viable hypothesis. I just have an alternate theory here. But not maybe an hour after that, full blown illness. It was literally complete. Can't speak very much. Full chills everywhere.
Dude, the chills suck.
Dude, like the aches. I had the aches really bad too. It was just pitiful. I was pitiful.
Dude,
for
when
a
it
while.
starts out with the aches they might be my worst thing when it comes to getting sick. The muscle aches that I get are just straight up insane.
Yeah.
Specifically my upper back. I feel like my upper back needs to be like, there's just a deep setted feeling of it needs to be cracked and popped. And
yeah.
It just is tight and can't be.
Yeah.
It's just a very uncomfortable feeling.
Yeah. I was having quite a bit of that with, I couldn't really lay down very easily because it was like, I constantly felt like I needed to move and shift. Because I was just never comfortable, and then I'd move, and then it would hurt to move, and then I'd get into a new spot, and I wasn't comfortable there either. No, it was awful.
there's been a sickness going around at the FedEx station. Most people have gotten it. I think I might have avoided it. I don't know. I'm kind of waiting to be dead here in a minute.
Yeah,
but
we all, speaking of you,
I'm waiting for it. Speaking of bedridden, there was one time. Back at Mom's house, I had I don't know if you remember this, but I didn't have a bed. There was a bunk bed, and I slept on the bottom futon. Black leather.
Kind of remember that, yeah.
Yeah. So I had slept in this futon for so long that the ass area was just completely worn to the cushioning of the futon. Like, there was no leather there anymore. It was probably fake leather, I think, anyway. But there was one time where I was so sick. I was probably not early, maybe like late teens, like 16 or 17. I literally was I was in bed for maybe 4 days straight.
Jesus.
And when you're laying in bed for so long, you literally, the spots that you predominantly are laying on start to feel they start to hurt.
Yeah.
I think there's a name for it, like bed sores or something.
Bed sores, that's what it is.
Yeah. That's one of them, because it's unescapable. It's an unescapable pain. Unless you get up and walk around, which is just terrible too, because your head feels like it's going to collapse in on itself.
Yeah.
I can't imagine people that are like hospital bedridden for weeks.
Well, I'll tell you, not to go into the details on this story because it's haunting and it's depressing and it's disgusting all at the same time. But did you ever hear about the woman? I think she was mentally impaired in some way, that lived with her parents, and her parents just kind of gave up on caring about her, and so she lived in their basement.
How old?
20s, 30s, something like that. But like her parents were caretakers, and she lived in her basement, sitting on the couch down there.
Mm-hmm.
And she ended up passing away in that chair, or by couch or whatever it was. But when they figured it out, nobody was helping her move. Have you not heard of this at all?
No, I had no idea.
It was a huge story that came out probably several years ago. Nobody was helping her, so she didn't get up to use the restroom, let's say. And she never moved because she just, for whatever reason, didn't do that. I don't think it was a physical issue; it was a mental issue. And she literally, her body, her skin, fused to the furniture.
I've heard of that happening before, where you're just like kind of decomposing and become one with biology once and more.
No,
yeah, that's a frightening thought.
It's a crazy story, and I think those people, the parents, saw some jail time for the neglect. I'd hope, but
yeah, hopefully,
yeah. But no, I read that story not too long ago. It was one of those things. It was like, I don't know. I get this way with certain topics. Like it's almost like a morbid curiosity. I'm like, I really got to read about this. This is like,
oh, dude,
like a crazy situation.
It's like, it's like seeing a guy jerk off in a restaurant. You can't just not.
you can't just
pretend it's not happening.
You can't just not walk up and admire. You know what are you gonna do?
Yeah, well, you can't not do that. Yeah, like, what about people like in coffins? Like, what if you opened up a coffin that's been there for 40 years? You just have to peel them up off the bottom of it, or I guess I don't understand how that happens.
I mean, I feel like eventually. Because like the skin would decompose,
right? Well, yeah, I guess that would probably be
eventually everything but the bones would decompose. Now right. I don't know if it.
I don't know how long that takes. Like I don't know if you dig up a 20-year coffin, it's going to be bones already, or if you can only do that if you're digging up like a 150-year coffin. You know what I'm saying?
Let's see if this gets put on an FBI watch list. How long?
How long does it take for a body to decompose?
Does it take? For a body to
I bet you from death to full on bones, I'm gonna shoot. Man, it's got to be a long time.
Yeah,
70 years.
You think 70 years? I'm gonna go 50. I'm gonna go 50.
50? Yeah, that's probably a good guess.
10 to 15.
What?
That's it.
Wow, that's way quicker than I thought.
Yeah, for a body to decompose fully in a casket.
Wow, 10 to 15?
Though this can be extended several decades if they're sealed in a metal casket, especially if embalming is involved. Well, if embalming is involved, then we're talking about mummies now.
Oh, well, I mean, yeah, there's preservation. But
mummies
put them in a casket.
If we're talking total decomposition, then mummies, that just doesn't happen as much, or where it happens, but not to the extent.
It takes crazy amounts of time.
How long does it take?
Yeah, what's a mummified body looking like after 100 years?
Mummified body to decompose. Well, this is a Google AI overview, so take that with what it is, which is not much. A mummified body can take thousands of years to decompose.
Holy cow!
Assuming it's in dry and cold conditions.
Which big old pyramids are.
Yeah, thousands of years, which that's consistent. I mean, they've dug up or found, rather, mummified remains where, what's something I heard? Excuse my voice there. You know what? What's something I heard? I'll tell you what, before I get into what I was gonna say, it's a miracle we're recording at all tonight, because just not maybe 3 or 4 hours ago, half of my vocal range was gone. The upper half specifically. The fact that I can put these words together is astonishing. So excuse my voice. It's all I have left. But anyway, but I saw a picture not too long ago. There are so many mummies in like Egypt, which is stereotypical for surely, and for a good reason probably. There are so many mummies in Egypt that there were just people just selling, like street vendors, just selling mummified bodies to people.
What? When?
I don't like 50. It was a real picture, so like it was in
older times.
It was a real picture, so it was post the invention of the camera. But
holy cow!
I don't even know what I would look up to find that. But no, yeah, I found a picture, and it was this guy, just like he had just literally a couple mummified bodies leaned up against the wall, and people were just buying it from him, one by one. Yeah.
Imagine you just. That's imagine that's literally the equivalent of us going to a graveyard, digging up a body, and selling it.
Yeah, no, it's crazy.
And people being just cool with that.
Yeah, I guess because nobody.
What do you think
knows
they're buying
people.
them for?
Probably like tourists of the time. So, some
like
tourist,
rich people.
Yeah, someone wants some exotic souvenir. What's more exotic than a real actual mummy?
An actual dead body.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they're probably gonna, unless they. I guess you wouldn't be buying a body just for funny ha-has. You'd probably be buying it because if my concern would have been they're gonna buy it and then leave it in their molding basement, and then it's gonna decompose because it's not a good area for it.
I don't know. I couldn't tell you.
Like
I didn't. I never did buy a mummy. I couldn't tell you.
Me neither. What do you think they're selling them for?
Now you're making me want to look it up.
We traveled to Egypt right now. What? And somebody's selling a random dude that's dead. What's his price that you buy at?
And we're assuming it's completely culturally acceptable to do so.
Well, if he's selling it on the street corner, yeah.
Like there's no like I don't want a body like up like that, but but like I don't
want a body that way.
I don't know if like are we factoring in the fact that like if you bring it home to your family, people are gonna be like, oh my god, that's so crazy.
Wow. Yeah, I don't know about.
I would say,
let's say you can buy it and donate it to a museum where it will be preserved there after the fact in the U.S.
So basically, I'm buying it from the dude to save it from being misused.
Perhaps, yeah. To save it from some other like necrophiliac from buying it or something.
Okay. I mean,
or just buying it to have a family gathering back at home to see it and then donate it to a museum, something like that. What's your price?
I'm cheap, maybe a thou wow.
A thou wow, you think?
Yeah.
For a body? That's way higher than I think I would have gone.
Well, I don't want it, is the thing. But like if I'm gonna have that experience and like, you know,
what that price is probably worth.
Yeah, because like, I don't know, man. I guess it'd be cool to like be up close.
That would be so cool, yeah. To actually just straight up have a mummy.
Oh, I found the picture. Look at this. Look at that crap.
Like, what the heck? Look at the guy on the bottom. He's broken.
Bro, better give me a discount on that.
Yeah, that's $10 off if I ever seen it. My mummy's split in half. Can I get a discount? That's crazy. Dude, he's literally... Dang. What if if there's an afterlife, there's no way that chick leaning up against the wall is happy to be there. Seeing her organless, barely skin having body.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And the guy on the left is just like, I I might have to drop the price. They're not buying it.
Listen to this. If I can get through this little sentence here. The elites of the era would often hold mummy unwrapping parties, which, as the name suggests, had the main theme in which a mummy would be unwrapped in front of a boisterous audience, cheering and applauding at the same time.
For what?
The
What are
amusement.
they expecting to see?
I guess it's just an amusement thing.
That's crazy. They don't have presents. They have you don't unwrap your presents for Christmas. There, you unwrap a dead body.
So we were
That's
right.
crazy.
Then. It was the rich and elite that were getting
So
them as
yeah,
souvenirs
it's
almost.
the wealthy. Well, how would you feel if you knew? What would you wear if you knew you were gonna die and end up as this woman leaning up against the wall here and be unwrapped by the rich and wealthy? What would you be thinking about as your presentability?
What would I want to present myself as to people viewing my dead body later?
Yeah.
I mean,
You know, some people would probably just put on like a freaking G-string or something just to be funny.
I mean, it's a boring one, but I would say probably just a suit, honestly, because suits are timeless. Because you gotta think, you don't know how long this period of time is going to be till you're unwrapped at this party, you know. So
That's true.
if you put on, just jeans and a hoodie or sweats and a hoodie, maybe that's not in style in a couple hundred years.
But here's the thing: if you just slap on a G-string, maybe that is in style. Maybe that's the norm in 100 years, and then they unwrap you, and they're just like, "Wow, this dude was just wearing normal clothes."
I mean, maybe I'll wear a sombrero. Maybe that's culturally appropriate at the time. Who knows?
You can't know. You can't know. The fashion train never stops.
Yeah. But point being, suits have been around for in various styles, and like a recent one in the last 30 to 40 years was the like skinny ties versus wide ties, or skinny versus wide lapels. So I mean, there's always going to be differences like that, but
I mean, the suit in general is just, you're right. It's kind of, dude, Jordan Peterson has got the suits. I don't know if you've seen some of the suits that Jordan Peterson wears.
Yeah, he gets funky with it, doesn't he?
Oh yeah, think of Jeremy Colling's pants, but as a suit in full body. It's crazy.
Jeremy Cooling is a professional disc golfer, for anyone wondering.
Right, for the like 5 people that would know who that is.
Yeah, but he wears super super fun like shirts and pants and colors, and
Joel Freeman as well.
Joel Freeman, disc golf.
He's got those pants.
Yeah.
Some people are just so outgoing with their fashion sense. Like I think this is more of a left thing, but just body modifications, hair piercings, tattoos. Maybe not so much tattoos, that's probably an everyone thing. But is that not more of like a left-leaning thing, I think?
Body mod stuff. Piercings.
Maybe I've just of the people that I know, I think there's a correlation there, but small sample size.
This might be reading into it. I think that left-leaning people tend to be on like a independent liberation vibe more than others.
Yeah, I guess that would fit more with the I'm gonna have an outgoing
kind of a break social norms vibe.
Yeah.
Which, not that right-leaning people are exclusively keeps social norms, but of the two, I would say left-leaning ideology tends to be more breaking social norms.
Yeah, I mean, right.
Body mod
I would say most of the people on the right sort of more look to the past and are more traditional in their sense, and then I think probably people on the left look more into the future and stuff like that.
I mean, they are called progressives.
That is true. Yeah. There's progression.
Which, if you listen to Ben Shapiro, that's a derogatory term about Stupid people.
Isn't the word liberal a derogatory term for stupid people when it comes to Ben Shapiro?
Just take left-leaning demographic equals bad.
That's a slur. I don't watch Ben Shapiro. I just know he's like the spokesperson of the right, I thought.
Yeah, he's certainly one of them. Yeah, Shapiro, we talked about him. Shoot, was that last episode or was it 2 episodes back? I think that was 2 episodes back.
I don't know. I don't remember talking
Oh,
about
it was
him
2
recently.
episodes back because I edited that video and I had, because we put the timestamps in them. We had a whole section where we talked about JD Vance and Ben Shapiro and Steven Crowder and I think a couple other guys. And
yeah.
I named that section. I named it Master Debaters.
Master Debaters. Whoa, you better not call them that to their faces.
Yeah, because that's a sin, I'll tell you.
Yeah, that's don't spill your seed.
Master Debater. I heard something about that particular verse, not gonna lie to you, about how that's not actually condemning masturbation.
Really?
Yeah.
God God was obviously angry at the spilling of the seed, but what would the spilling of the seed mean then?
Well, so it did mean spill the seed, but he wasn't mad that it was masturbation. He was mad that he didn't impregnate the woman, which was God's command or something.
So if you jerk off and then put the seed into a impregnation location, then it's good?
No. How is it explained to me?
If you pick it up off the ground with your hands and you scoop it in, then God will be happy.
So how it was explained to me was that by the internet, I'll add, not by anybody notable. But it was that God had commanded this person to impregnate this woman, and he pulled out, so to speak.
Oh!
And he wasn't supposed to do that. He spilled the seed on the ground when it was not supposed to be spilled on the ground.
It wasn't supposed to be spilt. It was supposed to be poured in. Okay.
Yeah. So it's not anti-masturbation. It's
Wait, so the dude was actively shagging during this.
All right, let's get myself
verse?
Another FBI watch list. Verse where dude jacks off ground. Verse
Jacks the ground off.
where guy
I have never heard of that before.
Seed. Genesis 38, 9 through 10.
So if that's the case, then does that mean that God has never, the Bible does not say anything about whacking your jack legs?
I couldn't tell you. Hold on. But Onan knew that the child would not be his, so whenever he slept with his brother's wife, he spilled his semen on the ground. It actually says semen.
What?
Hold on. What? Is this
what
NIV?
translation are you reading?
This is NIV. Let me go to like King James. What does it say in King James?
Oh, probably something unintelligible. Ye spilt. He art thou spilt seed on thoueth ground holy floor. That's what did you say that book chapter verse was?
Genesis 38, 9 through 10.
Man, they really get into this jack off shit early in the Bible.
And Onan knew that the seed would not be his, and it came to pass when he went in unto his brother's wife that he spilled it on the ground, lest that he should give seed to his brother.
Whoa, whoa! What about that end bit?
Pause.
Okay, so
I'm clearly misunderstanding something here.
Well, you're reading the King James version. What do you expect?
Well, I wasn't really understanding the NIV version either. What are we getting?
Go to the English, either English Standard or New Living. Those are like the most clear English.
Okay, well, New Living was the one I found first. But Onan knew that the children would not be his. So when he went in to his brother's wife, he wasted his seed on the ground to keep his brother from having children. Oh, and then the Lord saw that it was sinful. Okay, that makes it a little more clear.
Where is the? Please explain to me how the brother is entering this at all.
So
other than him shagging his brother's sister. Wait, wife? That would be incest. What?
So
Who?
his brother's sister, also known as his own brother or sister.
Oh, okay, yeah. So it actually was incest.
No. I was making fun of you. So
okay.
it was his wife's. No, it was his brother's wife.
Okay.
And I don't know the rest of the context, but this verse points to something else, that the brother couldn't, like, his sperm no good, big bad, you know?
Oh, he was shooting blanks.
He was shooting blanks, so to speak.
His brother was shooting blanks.
And so this guy comes in, Onan, was supposed to shoot not blanks.
Shoot live. He was live firing.
He was supposed to live fire.
He was shooting live rounds
into his brother's wife, but he spilled the seed on the ground so that his brother wouldn't have children, and that was sinful in God's eyes.
Not shagging with your brother's wife. That wasn't the sinful part.
That's fine. But this makes a lot of sense then. So he was keeping. So you got to think Bible times, right? Your lineage is vitally important.
Yes.
Vitally important. So
it's everything.
So his brother intentionally keeping Onan, especially keeping his brother from having children specifically, is very bad. So it's not that he spilled the seed on the ground; it's that he didn't impregnate the wife.
Okay.
Really?
So yeah, how was that ever taken as a masturbation?
Probably because parents don't like it when their children masturbate, and so they said that.
So is there anywhere in the Bible that talks about jacking your meat stick? Your freaking Long John Slim Jim?
Your Long John Silver Slim Jim, bro. I actually don't know. Because
that's the only verse I've ever heard about.
Is masturbation a sin? Because if masturbation isn't a sin, I might convert back.
Yeah. This is the biggest factor in Christianity here. This is important.
Now this is vividchristianity.com/masturbation is not a sin .htm.
So it's declaring from the URL, masturbation is not a sin.
Yeah, it says the Bible never, this is in bold, the Bible never says, implies, or even hints that masturbation is a sin.
So is there anywhere where it even mentions it?
What the Bible actually says is that we should not gratify the desires, cravings, or lusts for the flesh, our sinful nature.
Oh yeah, surely there's something talking about that. Don't pursue, don't fall claim to your sinful desire, lust, bust a nut, something like that.
Yeah, because you can't really. I mean, unless you're thinking about your wife, you can't really.
I mean, like we've talked about meditation before and removing your sense of self from your consciousness. Unless you're doing something like that, where you're just totally detaching from thought altogether and still managing to whack it.
That'd be tough.
That's a tough one. That's what I'm saying. That's a tough one. But that might be the only not sinful way to, spill the seed.
Yeah.
I mean, somebody's surely had a meditation-like experience from jerking off, probably.
Oh, surely. I mean, I don't know. We had a teacher at our Christian school that
this has gone to teachers, has it?
Yeah, but it briefly spoke on the subject. Well, actually, this is a bit of a funny side tangent here. So there was this child, and I went to for several years. I went to a K through 12 school, so kindergarten all the way up through graduation. And there was this one particular kid who must have come from a troubled household, because he was rotten, I tell you. rotten to his core. And I had this friend, we'll name drop. His name was Robbie, who was not rotten to his core, but maybe misguided, we'll say. And the three of us, it was me, Robbie, and then this little kid. We're all using the restroom at the same time, and we overhear this kid talking about porn. Right, and this kid's like,
what was the age range here?
Me and my friend were like maybe 13, 14. This kid was like 7, maybe.
Oh, okay. When you said
young.
13, 14, I'm like, okay, yeah, getting into that age. And then you said 7, and I'm like, what the hell?
Yeah. And this kid was talking about porn. And then I was just like, what is this kid like? Is he regurgitating something he heard? And we leave the bathroom, and Robbie turns to me and just like, I know that kid's talking about a real porn video because I saw that one. And I was like, did you now? And he was just like, yeah.
I've seen that one.
He was like,
dude.
He was like, I swear I've seen that one, so I know it's real. And then I think a teacher had come up behind us at that point and was just like, what are you talking about? I'm here to talk about porn over here. And we're like, and then we told him what we just heard. And the guy was just like, well, I'll tell you, masturbation itself isn't a sin, but porn sure as hell is what he said.
Did the Bible say not to flip on your phone and look at that?
Yeah, that's what it said.
I imagine. There's the Bible also said, I've got a friend who has a racial slur problem when he plays Rainbow Six Siege.
Do you now?
Yeah, and naturally he's religious, and
it's a bad look, I'll tell you.
Dude, he's not the poster child for Christianity. He is not. I'll tell you that much. But I told him that Jesus said, and I think it was Matthew's gospel, that you shouldn't be saying racial slurs, but all bets are off. It's Bob's your uncle when you're playing Rainbow Six Siege. So, and Jesus said that. So I told him he's home free. And he took it to heart and hasn't stopped. So yeah, that's some real true words in the Bible that Jesus spoke.
Jesus said
about porn.
You're playing Rainbow Six Siege, all bets are off.
Yeah, and masturbation isn't a sin, but porn is. What's porn? I mean, what's porn in Bible times? Cucking? Being a cuck?
What's porn?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure there were like paintings, and I'm sure I mean it's a fact of the matter that there were like paintings and sculptures and things like that, etchings.
So they're basically just the best they could do to get their imagination out into the world.
I mean, why do you think they're painting naked people all the time?
Dude, and sculpting them too.
Yeah.
Who was it that sculpted the dude with the tiny penis? David?
Was that Michelangelo?
I think that was Michelangelo.
It was one of them
That
guys.
sounds right. I don't know anything about that, but it sounds right.
Well, Michelangelo was the one that did the Sistine Chapel, I believe, which the dude's got his little dick hanging out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They had something with them penises back in the day.
Yeah, there was something to that, I'll tell you what.
There was something to that penis stuff. So I guess masturbation, go at it, but don't think lustful thoughts while you're doing it. You have to be thinking of your wife, who you do have to be married to. She wouldn't be your wife otherwise. So you have to be thinking about your wife or nothing else lustful. So think about what is a not lustful thought. Think about, like, I don't know, food or something.
No,
that's gluttonous. That's gluttonous. You're right. You can't be doing that.
That's lustful gluttony.
Be doing that. I think you either have to be thinking about your wife or you have to be meditating to jack off and it not be a sin.
Which Good luck with that. I mean, maybe your wife would be all right, but good luck with thinking of nothing at all.
Good luck. Yeah. Good luck with focusing on your breath in the absence of thoughts. That's a tough one.
Did you say that you had something you wanted to bring up?
Yeah. So we're at Micro Center. Speaking of lust, holy cow, great transition. We're at Micro Center, and you were, when I was buying this here, right there, his here camera. There was this pretty damn attractive chick that was helping us out.
Yeah.
And I thought nothing of her, but you were adamant that this chick was into me. She was pursuing me. There is a known statistic that like over 70% of men think a woman is interested when she's not. And I think you're a part of that statistic because I don't think she was.
I would guarantee that I'm a part of that statistic. I surrender that thought because I do read into that sometimes. I know this about myself, especially when it comes to other people, because I don't ever assume people are into me. That's just not.
Of course not. Then you're just got an ego that's too big.
I think that I've never once. Let me make sure this is true. Yeah, I've never once assumed a woman was interested in me in any certain way. It's either come out that they've been interested in me, and generally speaking, a relationship starts because of it, or I don't know about it until years down the road when I'm clued into that fact.
Who was it that clued you in? Was it? It was somebody that we both knew that told you. What happened? There was somebody that we both knew that liked you long after the fact.
So there was. Let me tell this story. And it's funny because she sent me a text message on Snapchat just yesterday, and I haven't opened it because I don't want to know what it is. Because
that's crazy. That's crazy that this is coming up now.
It literally just yesterday she sent me a Snapchat, and it was a picture and then a message right after.
Oh, and you better check that that's not a bot account, dude.
Well, no, because she's done this before.
Oh, okay.
She'll send me a text message like once a year or something like that. But anyway, just yesterday she sent me. But so this is what happened. This is the story of me and this woman. She was a part of my little church group I started. It's funny that we were talking about religion. I started a little church group. We called it the Heathen Bible Study because it was for heathens specifically. No, just for people that didn't like the church, didn't want to be a part of the church, but hey, this is an operation being put on by teenagers, so there's no like old people stigma, and we'll buy you a cup of coffee. Come to our Bible study. And it was at coffee shops. And this woman was a part of this. And we talked for a while. We hung out a couple of times independently. And I never ever got the clue that she was any way at all interested in me. Now, granted, I will say, she hasn't expressly told me that she was interested in me at this time, but I've told other people the story, and they're like, there's no way in hell that she wasn't. So here's the one thing. So she kept like wanting to hang out with me. She left me little notes, a little note. I think I still have it actually. It's like in the glove box of my car because that's where she left it for me. A little note saying like, "Oh, thank you for being my friend. You mean so much to me." Literally, I read that and I was just like, sick. You know?
Well, here's the thing. You listen, the note part is a little weird in terms, I say weird as in outside of typical friend bounds to maybe a small degree, but like, I don't know. That just seems like some really hardcore friend zone stuff.
Well, let me give you this last piece of evidence, and you can make your decision on this.
Okay.
So then she tells me, she says, "I'm gonna get my nipples pierced."
Woo!
And I said, okay. I mean, it's your body. You have at it, I suppose. And then she said, "Hey, when I get it done, I want to show you."
Okay. Yep. That's not.
And I said,
either that's so far deep friend zone, like immense deep friend zone that it's just insane, or not.
So yeah. So she said, "I want to show you." And now this was a good looking gal, and I was single. right? There would have been no real issue other than, I suppose, well, I'll get to it, but like, I'll get to it. But like, there would have been no real issue with like, me pursuing something with this woman. But I was so deep in my faith at that point in time that this woman, dude, I tell you what, she says to me, she says to me, I want to show you. And I said, you want to show me your tits? Basically. And she said, yeah, I do. And I said, so righteously, I said this because I'm an asshole at this point in time, right? I said, why would you want to do that?
Oh my God.
And she says to me, because they're my tits and I want to show them to you. No. And I said, yeah, I can't have any part of that.
No way. That's insane. Dude. If you're in the same sort of situation in terms of like relationship status, but right now that would happen.
Dude, I'm seeing.
Oh my God.
Tits, bro.
Are you serious? Of course.
I'm seeing some tits, bro.
What? That's crazy.
Dude, I was sitting there thinking, I was just like,
you can't say that you were faking being a Christian, not one bit. That is hard proof evidence if I've ever seen it.
I literally, I took one look at that with didn't skip a beat. I was just like, that's sin. No, I won't have it,
dude. That's insane. You are a lover of Jesus Christ. You. To get to the Lord and Savior, you need your keys to the kingdom, and tits ain't part of it. There are no tits in my pathway to heaven. Oh my God, that's insane.
That's a true story, and I swear to you this, that for years, maybe 2 years, maybe 2 to 3 years after this. Or maybe longer even, actually, because this was probably back in like 2018, 2017. And it wasn't until like maybe a couple years ago that I just on a whim told this story to somebody because I never really talked about it. And they were like, bro, she was into you.
Of course.
And I was like, you think? And they were like, bro. And I thought about it, and I actually took the time to think about it. And I was like, well, I'll be damned. Like, what? This person was into me.
Listen. I'll let you finish your stuff here in a moment. But the fact that you encountered that instance of a woman just straight up saying, hey, I have tits and I want you to see them. And then you not realizing that she's into you there. But the Micro Center saleswoman being nice and selling a product to me is what kind of twisted is that?
Well, because I would never assume that somebody was into me, but like other people, I feel like I pick up on it all the time. Granted, it's probably a big box of nothing, but
that's what dude. She was a saleswoman selling me products. So like, that is the nature that I would 100 expect from someone that gives no asses about me.
I don't know. I mean, you're a decent looking guy who's interested in the hobbies, clearly interested in the hobbies that she looks at or likes to talk about and stuff. I mean, maybe she's just a salesperson there that doesn't give a shit, but she seemed a little bit passionate about the stuff to an extent. I don't know. That's where my mind was. She was like, constantly.
So would we.
You say what?
So would we if we worked there. That doesn't mean.
That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying that her liking stuff is damning evidence that she's into you. But like, considering that you're interested in the same stuff, I don't know. And the fact that she kept checking in on us a bunch of times. Granted, maybe she was wanting to make a sale. Who knows? I felt like I picked up on something, but that's...
I was going to say, I also would want to be the person making a sale on a camera.
Yeah.
You know.
But granted, be that as it may, I am completely open to being wrong on that because... Well, I have no real...
Well, we got to go back. We got to go back because I thought she was hot. So, but I didn't think anything of it. So we got to go back just to make sure.
And I don't know how their commission structure works there. I don't think they make like a ton of money off of stuff. So like, and just probably the amount that she was checking in on us. And like, here's the way I operate. Like, right. So not like at my current job, because I got to stick with people, but like in things where I would talk to somebody like at Dick's, we worked at Dick's. somebody would come back into the shoe department. I'd help them with shoes. They'd be like, yeah, I'd help them with shoes for a little bit. And they'd be like, okay, I'm going to go look around. If they came back up to me like 30 minutes later, I'd probably forgotten what they look like.
Oh, 100%.
You know, but like you and I,
traffic in that place. Yeah.
Now, yeah. And you and I were in that Micro Center for like 4 hours, and we came back up like, well, maybe not all 4 hours, but like 2.5 to 3 hours later. And she was just like, oh, you're back. Hey.
I don't know. I don't think it would be that hard to remember us.
Yeah, we're pretty obnoxious when we're out in public.
Like yeah. I don't know. I feel like it was like it's not hard. Maybe it was at the time, but it's not it's not hard to have just facial recognition a little bit. Like, especially when there's two people.
Yeah. I do get that way, like, with a lot of people. So, like, I'll be working with at my job. I'll be working with people, and then I won't see them for, like, a couple weeks or like, a couple days to a week. And they'll come back in, and I'll see them. And I'm like, I know you from somewhere.
Yeah.
You know,
like, there's customers at retail places that I've worked that I saw them days ago, and I know that they're back. So like,
yeah,
I don't think. I think she was being a saleswoman.
Well, and I could be wrong, and I'm open to being wrong. Like we said in whatever episode that was. What do we even say? Something to do with like intelligent people ought to be open to the possibility that they're wrong about things or something like that. Something along those lines.
Always start from a position of being incorrect.
Yeah.
Try to be the least wrong you can be.
Or, well, I mean, you did say that, but we talked about something else about not assuming you're right, but whatever. But yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm completely open to the being incorrect about that. Just a hunch I had, but I do find myself, on a macro note, I do find myself feeling that other people are interested in other people, and picking up on that sort of thing with my friends. Never about myself, but with my friends, I'm always like,
well, I mean, there's this is a quote from someone really smart, like some philosopher, like Nietzsche or something. It's probably not, but it's a wise man is a man that can take his own advice. Like, your people are just much more adept at psychoanalysis when they're not a part of it.
Yeah.
Like people in relationships. Holy cow. This is why it's easy to give advice to people in relationships when you haven't been in one for like 6 years.
Yeah.
Because you're just so much better at there's no biases, or at least a lot less of them, and there's more of an objective view. That's one thing I always never quite fully got on board with, is people criticizing others for giving advice about something when they aren't currently in that thing, or don't have advice about how to get something when they currently don't have it right now. Like, I understand it on a certain degree. Obviously, the most common example here is people giving advice about relationships when they're single.
Yeah.
You know, but like, you can do that. You can objectively assess more bias free than the person that's in the moment. So like, you don't have to be a guru at this thing to be able to give an objective analysis.
It's different, right? Because like, if I'm studying quantum physics, right, I'm not, it's not very helpful for me to go up to some Joe Schmo on the street and say, hey, what do you think about this? I want an outsider's opinion. What do you think about this? Because what are they gonna add to the conversation there? But we're not talking about that. We're talking about what it means to be a human being and how we should be treated and stuff. So if a person who's in a relationship comes up to their single friend and says, hey, even though you're single, I want an outsider's opinion on this. What do you think? That person has concrete experience in what it means to be a human being and how human beings should be treated. So they have some value there, definitely.
Yeah, I guess specifying the difference between advice on something with actual truth and false nature to it, like any scientific endeavor, like physics,
Right.
is something maybe you don't want to just get some random Joe Schmo's advice on. But if it's something that everybody in their like emotion, there's no one that doesn't have experience with emotion unless there's something very wrong.
Yeah.
So like, I guess that makes a little bit more sense. Now, I guess if you take it to its logical extreme and ask advice from somebody that has never been in a relationship, maybe there is a level of understanding there that they just don't grasp. Maybe it's a little bit less advantageous to get advice from someone like that.
Well, I told you, this is a bit of a different example. I remember telling you a little backstory on myself as far as relationships go. So I've, like many people, I've had relationships, then they didn't pan out. That's a common experience. So some of them failed worse than others, and you kind of grow to have certain preferences or select new people based on what you realize didn't work for you. And
you get of the things that you learn a lot of new things, a lot of which are what you don't want.
Yeah.
Which is just as valuable as what you do want.
Right. So my sister never had a boyfriend. She's 25. She has actually now a fiance, who they're getting married in a month or 2 or 3 months, something like that. Never had a boyfriend up until this point, and she had just started a relationship with this guy, like maybe a month or 2 prior, and it was her first relationship at the age of 24 or so, maybe 23. I was just starting my relationship with my current girlfriend at that time, and we were going through a bit of a rocky start, as it sometimes happens. And my sister came up to me to give me some sage relationship advice, I'll tell you. And boy, was I not receptive to it, because I felt that her experience was not helpful to me, because she didn't have much of it, and the experience she had was incredibly abnormal. As in, the first guy you decide to give a chance ends up being the perfect dude for you.
Yeah, that doesn't happen very often,
right?
And you shouldn't expect it to.
But I'm happy for them, all things considered. But in the moment, I was not very receptive.
What was the advice?
I don't even remember. This was like 2 or 3 years ago.
You told me. I was gonna say you went up, down, left, right, through, around Crazy Town with it when it happened, and I remember it.
Yeah,
so you told me everything, but I've forgotten what the advice was.
I feel like it was just, I can't remember which way it went. I don't remember if it was one of those like, if you really care about somebody, you got to see it through, or if it was like, if it was one of those, if you're having problems this early, you need to give up on it. It was one of the two mentalities, but I can't remember which way she went with it.
Both can be true and both can be false.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It just entirely depends on the person. It's just like, well, because the way I looked at it, right, not to get too deep into it, but the way I looked at it was, to an extent, and there is a line that if crossed, this will no longer work. But to an extent, I feel like most people are gonna encounter these issues in their relationships at some point.
Of course.
We're just changing when we're addressing them in a lot of ways. There's always going to be new problems, right? But like, better to get through this now than put a ring on it, get married, have kids, God forbid, right? And then and then find out there's a whole closet full of problems that could lead to a divorce. That was my thought process.
See, I think the omission of a honeymoon period just kind of makes people uncomfortable.
Yeah.
When you're dating for a month and then problems already start to roll in, there kind of just isn't a honeymoon period except for a very short-lived time.
Yeah.
I think people just don't like that idea, and that was 2 years ago, and you're still together. So clearly,
still together, not without its flaws and not without its struggles, but we are still together, and I think I'm a better person for it. I'll tell you what, she's taught me patience. I'll tell you that much for free. But I feel
mean,
like
is that just not a trait of being in a relationship?
that I was just about to say, as honestly any good relationship should.
Yeah.
Any relationship should teach you patience for this one reason. I'm not saying that women are hard to deal with and you're going to have to get used to it, buddy. No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that you shouldn't necessarily be with somebody that's an exact replica of your own self. You should be with somebody that challenges you in some way.
This is literally a play on what I had just said before we started recording this podcast. I said, you are putting yourself at a severe disadvantage in life. This wasn't in a relationship context, but it applies here too. You're putting yourself at a severe disadvantage in life if you only surround yourself with people that you agree with.
Right.
Or people like you. Or it applies that way too. You being exposed to new lifestyles, ideas, just people, being exposed to things other than yourself in general can only lead to an expansion of knowledge, which can only be good.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
definitely.
absolutely.
What good does it? I mean, you could say, oh, my partner just by default has all the same hobbies as me. Cool, I get to do all the things I love to do. Great, but you were doing those things anyway.
Right. Now you're just doing it with a +1.
Yeah, which is cool, I guess. But wouldn't it be better to, through discussion and compromise and trying to accommodate each other, find things you both enjoy? Or maybe even sometimes doing something you don't want to do, but just having a new experience, even if you didn't love it.
Right. I often say I will try most things once.
I struggle with this because my girlfriend wants to do things with me, and I'm just like, video games. Video games. But video games. But like tennis is one thing. She has been absolutely just bugging me up a storm. I love tennis. She's been bugging me up a storm to play some tennis, and I'll play some tennis. I tell her every time I'll play some tennis. Problem is, she reminds me to play tennis with her in the dead of winter, and I'm like, I'm not playing with no damn tennis with you right now. I'm sure
the tennis court is submerged.
Yeah.
In snow. You want to bring a snowplow too? I got it.
Yeah. She'll tell me when it gets to wintertime, she'll be like, you didn't play tennis with me all year. It's like, well, you had a whole year to remind me that you wanted to play tennis and you didn't. And now we're at the end of the year. Because I'm not going to think about that.
Me and my best friend have been playing off and on games of tennis, every couple of years, and we've been doing it since we were old enough to play tennis, really. And neither one of us practice, but both of us are quite athletic, so we're pretty equally skilled. And yeah, it's just, if you're playing against somebody that is competitive with your level, it is just it's so much fun. I love tennis.
Yeah.
I really
no, and I've played tennis. I would play tennis, but yeah, that's one of those things where it's just like, I don't necessarily want to, but I would, because it broadens my horizon. It gets me, if anything, it just gets me out moving, whatever.
Yeah,
and it would make her happy to do so. I mean, the other thing, we go on walks, which is something I hate going on a walk. I hate it.
I can't stand walks.
But she loves going on walks. I think it's therapeutic for her. I really think so.
My roommate also really enjoys walks.
It's a woman thing. I'll tell you what.
I would say on average, women do like that walking.
They like that walking.
Those nature walks.
They like that walking. And she said this to me, and I said, "Why you always got to be walking? What's with this walking stuff?"
Be walking.
But
take that out of context. That's hilarious.
Yeah, and she was just like, "Well, it gives us time to talk to each other." It's like, we're talking right now. What do you?
Yeah, I don't think that. That's obviously not it. That's obviously not it. And she probably doesn't even know what it is. Unless she really thought about it.
Part of it, I think her family used to go on group walks all the time. My family did not do that. My family did the opposite of that. My family did sit on the couch and watch a show time.
I mean, just about I mean, as we know, genetics and experience make up, as far as evidence shows, 100% of the actions we make today. So
Right.
most things like that can be traced to something in the past as to why they would want to do that.
Right. So, moral of that entire segment is read your surroundings, right? People, if people want to show you their tits, there'll be a deeper meaning to that. Right?
Read deeper into it. Just one layer. Just go one layer down.
Number 2, which is the flip side of this. Not everybody's interested in people just because they are nice. It's the other one.
Right.
And the other one.
But we got to make sure. That's why we got to go back. Because I got to know.
Right. You got to know.
Totally down.
And you're going to confront her, and then she's going to call the police.
Yes.
And the last takeaway from that segment was get you somebody challenging.
Get you somebody. Well, maybe there's a whole world of nuance with that last one.
Exactly.
Because
be with somebody, not exclusively, but don't be afraid of somebody that challenges your conventional beliefs and feelings and actions.
But that doesn't mean find your opposite and
then
call it a day.
There is something to be said for compatibility.
Oh, absolutely. I would argue my last relationship was a lot of that. Me and her were just crazily different. Just crazily different in a lot of the ways that mattered. Like my hobbies, she just really did not like any of my hobbies. Disc golf, I really enjoyed solving. I was trying to solve Rubik's Cubes as fast as I can, really a lot during those days. What else did we do? Video games. Frickin', those are the 3 main things. But every single one of those, she just really was not she just hate, especially disc golf. And disc golf was obvious because she was not super fond of her dad, and her dad played disc golf. So that was obvious reason as to why she wouldn't like that one. But yeah, don't find someone that's going to resent all your pastimes either.
Yeah. I mean, shoot, you know this. That was a part of my current relationship's growing pains was me getting into PC gaming and her being vehemently against it. Now, we're, for the most part, on the other side of that, you know, to the extent that she's even played PC games now, and, you know, which I didn't push for that. It was just like, you know, hey, I'm a grown man, by the way. I can do what I want. I'm not cheating on you. Because that was the thing, was she thought I would be talking to hot babes online, which is hilarious because I have a cell phone.
But also, the laptop wasn't a problem either.
Also a laptop.
Which was a clear indication that it was not. It was deeper rooted than that.
Yeah, there were deeper roots to it, but we've sorted through it through arguments and compromises and all that and all the such. And we're on the other side of it now. But yeah, there's a saying, right? Everybody says this: opposites attract, which might be true. Opposites might attract to some extent. You're attracted to something that's very unlike yourself.
Something new, something exciting, something unknown, mystery.
You know what opposites don't do? Opposites don't stick together. It's like a magnet.
Yeah.
You know what? Or no, that's not the thing. Oh, that's not the thing. Hey, what I said was wrong. Opposite ends of a magnet, in fact, do stick together.
Your positive and your negative, yes.
Yeah. No, it's the same one.
Relationships are not a magnet.
Relationships are not...
Your analogy came together, realized it couldn't be put together, and was thrown out the window in a matter of moments.
Relationships are the opposite of a magnet, and for those reasons.
Yeah.
So I think that's not that you want to find your opposite. It's you want to find. This is a very cynical view. I don't remember who told this to me. It might have been my mother. I don't want to say it was my mother because this might be wrong. It's a very cynical view of the world. But somebody told me, somebody who I think might be my mother, told me, love is about, because you're gonna. Let me. There's the other thought. Because you're gonna. That
was a good quote.
I'm still sickness foggy brain. Hold on.
Love is about because you're gonna.
I'm really struggling today. I'm not all with it.
That's a yeah.
Hold on.
That's one for the quote.
Let me preface this. Let me preface this.
Write that down.
This whole sentence predicates on nobody is 100% compatible, right? You're gonna have problems with everybody.
There is no
right?
such thing as a soulmate,
right? And so basically, what she said was, it's not about finding your soulmate. It's about finding the person you hate the least. And that's love.
That's hey, dude, that's the first true, just succinct definition of love that I've ever heard. The person you hate the least.
Yeah. Find the person you hate the least.
I mean, that's to some extent. I mean, it's a glass half empty, half full. You could just instead say find someone you like the most.
Right.
Because the hate is going to be leveraged with against the like. So that's a more optimistic way of putting it. But I think saying, find someone you hate the least puts the emphasis on there is not going to be someone that you're going to 100% like.
Right.
Which I think
because I mean, it's just simply about impossible. Yeah.
It's it's impossible unless this chick from Micro Center.
Yeah.
What? Yeah. Well. Speaking of on people giving advice that probably aren't qualified, and maybe that not disqualifying it, but proceed with caution. That was probably most of this episode. So we'll put a stop to it just in case we're causing damage the more we talk. So we will talk to you next week.
See ya.